Hi,
Hi,
we're the
we're
River
the River
Kittens,
Kittens.
and you're listening to
You're
Rock at
listening
Night.
to Rock at Night.
Yeah. Are you ready? Hey, tonight I'm gonna take you on a little trip. We're going down south by the mighty Mississippi. I'm gonna take you to a place where lights live again. Bring your mother, your brother, and your best friend. I'm gonna show you where they dance out in the street. They'll tell you all about your body heat. Not gonna talk about it, just gonna do it. Get on down, if you feel good now. Get on down.
All right. Well, thank you for being here with us. So let me just tell everyone out there what the River Kittens have been doing. Rock at Night got to see this band last month when they opened for the Allman Betts Band at Clearwater, Florida's beautiful Ruth Eckerd Hall. And we did cover that show, so if you go to Rock at Night, you can check that out. Devin Allman has also signed the River Kittens to his new record label, Create Records. The girls also have a new 6-track EP, Soaking Wet, that is on sale now. This band is getting a lot of love and support from a huge wave of audiences that otherwise would not have had an opportunity to see them do a show. And I'm watching all these reactions on your socials. It's absolutely marvelous. So the band is Maddie Schell and Allie Vogler, and they have been together since 2014. And I would say that your genre is a really cool mix of roots, Americana, alt country, bluegrass, rock, pop, and probably a little punk in there too. Does that sound about right?
Yeah, I mean, I'd put a little soul. I'd add soul in there too. But yeah,
Right.
we are a little bit. We do find it hard to pin ourselves down to one genre. We like to cover all the bases.
Now, I'm going to ask you probably a bunch of different questions, but I think what's the most challenging or what's been the coolest about opening for this huge headlining all-male band and your two girls, and I know logistics have probably been crazy, and you're trying to get from one gig to another, you're trying to find time to keep up with your own media, and I was just thinking about laundry the other day, like how you even get that done when you're on the road. But can you kind of fill us in on some of the good parts about being on tour and maybe some of the challenges y'all have had?
Definitely. Well, the coolest thing is actually being able to play these larger shows in front of these really excited audiences, and as well as like being in some of the coolest places in the country. Like, you know, we went through some beautiful, beautiful places and got to see things that we haven't in the past and probably we're never going to until music was able to make us able to do that. So playing the beautiful shows and seeing the country is definitely the coolest highlight of tour for me. Yeah, and we definitely see the country from the van. It's a lot of, probably the hardest part about it is the grueling pace. But then, right. You know, I find myself at home, you know, wishing I was back on the road, because at home then you feel so worthless, like you feel lazy because you're not constantly moving, you know. So, and I also think something that's challenging is just getting out of your head sometimes before opening for a band like that, and just remembering that people are generally probably, you know, they're going to be excited because music is back and live music is back, and you know, playing the music isn't the hard part. It's really the mind games you play with yourself. Like, oh, nobody wants to see, you know, nobody wants to listen to us, or they want to see the headliner, you know. But we had the total opposite response, and that was the most amazing thing about tour, was that people were really interested and very into it. And so we felt like the tour was
well, just the beginning of it anyway, a success in that respect for sure.
Now, you all have been playing together since 2014, and did stage fright ever happen to you in those early days, or do you still have a little bit of the stage fright before you get on stage and play, or is this just a part of something you'll never get over, really?
I think from both of our theatrical backgrounds, we kind of got over the stage fright thing when we were younger, because we grew up on stages, basically.
Yeah.
I think I can speak for Maddie when I say that, too. So, yeah, we are performers as much as anything else, so I think we're pretty comfortable on the stage. And the last time that we both had stage fright would probably be at the Ryman in Nashville, but before that, probably since we were kids.
Yeah, I don't remember ever having stage fright before that. And it wasn't even like stage fright because the crowd wasn't that big because it was COVID,
right?
Like a socially distant show. So there was
that
even
wasn't
less
even
people.
Stage fright.
It was just
I saw that.
Yeah,
I saw that
building
video.
that made you so nervous. So
yeah, that video was really good at the Ryman in Nashville. Is that the one you're talking about?
Yeah,
that was a great set y'all did there. You know, and I think that video was popping up when in the very beginning of the Allman Betts tour, when you would just go into YouTube and just do a search. That was one of the videos that was coming up first with you all. So I'm sure a lot of people saw that video, like when they bought their tickets and they wanted to know who you were. If they hadn't checked you out online, they checked at least that video.
Yeah,
so,
for sure.
So yeah, it was a performance, I thought. So
shout out to our friend
all,
Isaac for recording that video.
Yeah, it was really done well. Are you all doing any more dates, or are you finished with this now?
Yeah, we have. We'll be on tour with Allman Betts for the rest of the year, basically, unless they're with Blackberry Smoke. We are not on those dates, but we are going to be doing all the all the normal theater shows that they do on a normal run. We'll be there. So.
Right. So what happens like in November when they go over to Europe? Are you going to be doing that or no?
Unfortunately not this year, but Devin has definitely mentioned that he's going to get us to Europe eventually. So.
Oh, you'll love it there. So let's switch gears a little bit because I wanted to talk a little bit about your 6-track EP that people can order from your website. Is called Soaking Wet. You've got some pretty standard songs in your repertoire that are on there. One is Trouble, which was done with an animation. How is that? Is that getting a lot of hits for you as far as on the video?
Not as many hits as it deserves.
Well, yeah. Scuba Steve really nailed it, and it's such a cool video. It has, less likes than we want, but, sometimes those things take time. I try not to even I try not to pay attention to it, because then I'll get, it's like an obsession. I'll keep looking at it every day.
The Allman Betts, did they use the same animator for their song Magnolia Road?
They did, yeah.
Okay, I thought it was the same animator. I was pretty sure about that. So on there were some other songs that I thought were really great standouts, and one was a tribute to waitresses everywhere, dressing on the side, of course, which the lyrics were just so familiar to me. I spent many years as a waitress, so when I heard the song, I thought, oh, my God, that fits. Anybody that's a waitress that has not heard these lines or said them, You know, how did that song happen? Did you guys spend a lot of time waitressing, or how did you get the catharsis or the idea to write that song?
Yeah, I mean, Allie's still taking shifts at a restaurant while we're home, and I waitressed for probably 17 years, bartended. So we have a little experience in that category.
It's a tough job. Customer service of any kind is a tough job for sure.
Yeah.
And then on the also on the EP, you guys decided to do a Beastie Boys song. How did that end up on the EP?
You gonna take this one, Allie?
Yes, we really like the song. We knew it was going to be fun, and we knew it was going to refresh our current audience that we have locally here in St. Louis, because we all like to have fun together. So if anything, the best reason I'd say it was just a good time, and Devin was digging the idea, so we brought it to life, and I'm glad we did because fun was had.
Yeah, we knew we were going to do a cover, and for months, actually, we, threw around ideas, like a text thread with me and Allie and Devin, and he kept saying, oh, when we say it, we're going to know. We're going to know right away that that's the one you should do. So that's kind of what happened. Allie and I were actually talking about Fight for Your Right to Party, and then Devin said it, so we were like, dude, kismet. So we decided to put it on record.
The video for the old Beastie Boys was a favorite for parties, and I remember that MTV had done some kind of special promotion when that song first came out, when the Beastie Boys did it, and I guess they would grab people and put hoods over their heads and throw them in a vehicle and take them to a party. I guess it was really crazy, but it was a really crazy promo that they were doing, and I remember it vaguely, and I remember my sister was telling me what was going on with it, about all the winners and things like that. It was really funny. So
I do remember the video, but I don't remember the promo for it.
Yeah, right. When you want to write a song, what is the first thing that gets done? Do you all have to have the idea? Do you work on it together? Does the thought come in one and then you share it with the other? How does that work for the two of you?
I try to let, I think not lately, songs kind of come to me in little bits and not entire songs at one time. So if I try to build it, just little bit by little bit, and that way it makes it easier if Maddie has something to add or whatever. We can just build it bit by bit.
Yeah, I usually kind of work on it. It's a slow process for me too. Sometimes I'll have a song that's just the music, just the guitar, one little guitar part that I really like, and I'll sit on that for months before I even write a word. But a lot of times we do write on our own, and then we bring it to the other, and we kind of round it out together.
Do you record those musical bits on your phone or some other way so you don't forget them?
I should.
Yeah, a lot of the time. My recording bank on my phone is full of that stuff.
Yeah, so you can go back and actually you keep a catalog of those different ideas. I know I have an app like that too. It's pretty full. So,
yeah.
And I wouldn't even know how to organize it. So, that's crazy. Now, the lyrics, does that get easier for you when you're doing lyrics?
No,
when you're writing
I find
lyrics?
with time that lyrics get harder to write the older I'm getting.
Yeah, makes you feel like, oh shit, I've used that before.
Right.
Man, for me, I'm just trying to avoid any cheese. If it's cheesy or cliche, I'm like, no, and then I end up screwing myself over by not allowing me to actually write what I want because I'm scared of it being cheesy.
Yeah.
Right. So you had another song that I had put on the review, and it was interesting that this was a cover, but it was a rather old cover, and I still haven't been able to figure out who actually originally wrote it. I know that Bruce Springsteen did it, but it was the cover song Atlantic City, which I got to say that video is just a work of art. What kind of efforts went into making that video, and how long did it take to do?
Well, we did fly to Atlantic City.
So it was done in Atlantic City. How fun.
Yeah, some of it was like the boardwalk scene, with the Ferris wheel. That's the Atlantic City boardwalk, and we went in the middle of November, and it was freezing, and there was no one there because it was COVID, the boardwalk was shut down, but it was still lit up. And anyway, there was a guy, a security guard type guy behind the little barricade to where you would enter, and he was like, hey, what are you doing? And Allie said, what are you doing? And then we were like, can we go in there and shoot a music video? And he was like, hell yeah. So we had the boardwalk all to ourselves, which would have been very expensive in a non-COVID world. So that was pretty cool.
That's really perfect. It was like a perfect time to do those creative things when COVID kind of locked all of us down. Did you find that you were more creative during that time, and did you get more done, or was it more of a lazy time?
Well, the music had stopped, there was time to write and there was time to, be at home, because we went from gigging 3 times a week to nothing at all. So it was a little, a resting point for us, but thank goodness.
And not to mention, it was probably difficult as far as, financially too. I know a lot of people suffered, musicians especially, because the money flows, and then it flows into the left hand and it goes out the right. And when you're gigging, there's a nice flow going. But if you're not gigging, that's not coming. So that was tough
Correct.
For a lot of people.
Correct, yeah.
But now, when I look over some of the older videos, you guys have had other artists performing with you, or you've been a band of 3 or more. Why did you decide to go with 2? Was there a reason for that?
Well, we, our friend Martha, who was with us in the beginning, her and Allie actually were the River Kittens first, and I was not in the band yet. So they found me at a bar, and then eventually Martha decided she wanted to go back to school, and that was like an amicable parting, and we're still friends with Martha. But we decided, and ultimately we did play with a band a few times, or we do sometimes, a full band. Actually, John Lum used to be our drummer. From the Allman Betts Band. And they stole him from us, and we're still mad about it. I'm just kidding. We're not mad. And Nate, my boyfriend, who is their Allman Betts sound engineer, he was our bass player. So we kind of had to reconfigure some things whenever they went out on tour. And Allie and I started doing duo gigs all over town, and we just have a chemistry, and we haven't found anyone yet that shares it and not like where it's strong enough with three people, with a third harmony there since Martha really. So we just decided let's stick with what works, and the two of us, it works.
Now, this tour is going to go on pretty much for a long time. What are your plans afterwards? Are you going to take a little bit of a rest, or are you going to try something different, or is there more music that you're going to put out? Or all of the above?
Yeah, I think after December, I think we get a couple of months off. But I do know that Create Records does want us to put out an LP in the next year. So we will be putting out a new record probably, and probably some singles in between there.
How do you think the publishing of music has changed over the years? Because it seems what we're finding here at Rocket Night is that everybody's got like a different formula or format that works for them. But one of the things we're noticing is that a lot of bands are putting out singles, and that LPs are done much less frequently, and singles are put out basically to capture the interest of your audience. But there might be a lot of time between publishing a single and publishing an LP. So what do you think of that, or what works for you, or are you not even really sure yet?
Just personally, like as a music fan in general, and not like this reflects the way that I'm going to release music, but I do think that based on what you're trying to go for, if you're trying to get your music out there and build your audience, you don't have to spend so much time making a 10-song full-length record when you could just grab them with your best song and, not have them, your potential audience be waiting for a full-length record before you've already, gotten their attention with your single. So I am really interested in artists putting out the singles because, at that point they've picked it down to the best song that they have, and they worked on it real hard, and I really do like that idea. And I still always listen to records all the way through, but it just depends on what you're trying to go for. And as far as like up and coming artists who are just trying to get their music out there, singles are really working for a lot of people, and it's cool. It's cool to see. I love a good single.
Yeah, I think putting out those singles really helps keep, the momentum going. Obviously, in this world now with content, and how much of it can you create, and how quickly can you create it. So it's like, on one hand, the artist in you wants to release this masterpiece full LP, like ego-driven type thinking, but then the smart career decision might be give them give the audience what they want quicker, put those singles out, and maybe, when you buy the CD, all the singles are together on the CD, instead of
obviously
waiting so long to put that out and not giving them what they want. So it is hard. It's hard to navigate.
And I think, too, that if you're putting out singles and you put out like one and then you wait a month or two and you put out another, there's some bands doing that. It gives them an opportunity to actually perfect the song. And there may even be some things they want to change in it from the beginning, from what they had in the beginning to what they eventually put out. But it gives them that creative time to make it the best thing that they can create. So that seems to make sense to me anyway. Now, Now, some of the things that I saw as I was looking online about you all was that you were very involved with So Far Sounds, and that seems to be a really, really good organization for fledgling artists. Were you able to use So Far Sounds as a way to build your local fan base out in St. Louis?
Definitely. I think I remember the location of that event was out in a college town or called U City. And that was an audience that we never really had tapped into locally before because we just none of us went to college. I'm just kidding. Maddie went to college. But it was cool because we got the college kids. You know, they were kind of like, who are these girls? And then because we were like all funny and stuff, so that was a good time. Yeah, So Far Sounds great.
Yeah, I worked with So Far Sounds here in Tampa for about 2 years, and I really enjoyed the whole organization. And then I moved up to Pennsylvania, and then of course it's quieted down now because of COVID. But I think there's been some moves to like build it up again. So I know they're doing a lot of stuff through live streaming. So we'll see what happens. But I think that that's a really good place for a lot of artists to start. Locally, you know, and I saw a lot of. Go ahead.
Sorry, I was going to say, and they also the shows they put them on in really cool locations. Like it's usually just some like a very intimate setting, or somewhere where normally there wouldn't be a live music.
Right. We found
it ours a house show.
Finding a place to do it was actually the most challenging part. You can always get people to play. People want to play no matter what. But finding the really cool, ideal place to put a show on was the toughest part of curating a show, really.
Yeah.
So that's interesting. Now, another question, and this is probably one that you expected. How is it different for female artists and male artists? What do you think are some of the biggest differences and probably the biggest challenges to you building your career with music? And do the guys have it easier and better or not?
No, honestly, I mean, well, for one, men don't ever put male band in front of their name, but for some reason everybody has to put female duo in front of our band's name. You know, just little stuff like that irks you. But I think, honestly, in all, people are more helpful when you're a female, and whether that's condescending or not, I don't care.
That's interesting. Yeah, to hear that perspective, you know.
Yeah, I mean, people, I don't know, a lot of women obviously would say it was harder, you know, years ago, and I'm sure and there's a lot of women who it's been very hard for even currently. But in my personal career, I have not run into it being more difficult because I'm a woman. I don't know if that's Allie's take on.
I mean, maybe things are changing. That would be good to know, you know, that things are changing, because a lot of the older women that have been in the business for a long time, you know, they've expressed, you know, some hardships and difficulties trying to get their music heard. So if things are changing up, I think that's great, and that means it's a perfect platform for new female artists to get started, you know, and to not be afraid of the challenges.
Well, and then again, we also have like a very supportive community here in St. Louis of musicians, and you know, maybe I just haven't. I've been doing music for a long time, but maybe I haven't been on a level where I would have had to face adversity like that yet. people trying to take advantage of you, people, you know, treating you like you're stupid or something, you know. So maybe that just hasn't been my experience yet, but I hope it continues to be positive.
Right. You had said to me that there were some tough times trying to keep up with the media for you guys, because you're probably getting a lot of emails and you're getting inundated on your social networks. Do you plan on getting someone to help you with that, or how is that going to work for you?
Yeah, we need all the help we can get.
Yeah, because that's tough when you're performing and you're doing it on your own, you know.
Yeah, because we're driving somewhere, and you know it's you can look at your phone for so long. You know, it's when we're always on the go. It does get a little bit easier because one of us is in the passenger seat answering emails and doing the socials while the other one gets us there. But again, you can only look at your phone for so long.
Yeah. Well, and we do have some help. We have like a publicist through the record label, and we also have Nate is our acting manager at the moment, so he does a lot of our emails and bookings for us. He's very helpful.
That's great. Because one of the things, too, that I wanted to ask you was what dates do you have coming up? And do you have any plans for 5 years out? Have you even thought that far ahead?
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah.
I mean, eventually we want to be on our own tour. You know, like our own headlining tour. I think a good goal to set would be just like, basically, John Ginty said to us that if you just keep working like you are right now and keep working hard, just see where you'll be in a year, you know, and don't focus too much on one single thing. Just keep working toward the bigger picture, and I think that's my mentality right now, is just keep pushing, keep our noses to the grindstone.
Right. Yeah. And just stay busy and keep gigging and all of that. So your next dates when you go out and meet Allman Betts again, when will that be?
We start that in September.
Okay.
We'll be, that tour starts September 2nd in LA, and then we do California, we do Oregon, we do Washington, Idaho, Utah, Colorado, Montana. It's going to be a really pretty drive.
Yeah, that's gorgeous out there. You're going to love it out there. How can people find you? What's the easiest way for them to find you and connect with you online?
I'd say our main socials are Facebook and Instagram. And we're tapping into TikTok currently. We're trying to figure that out. But we're almost easily available right there on Facebook and Instagram. As well as our email.
I'm right there with you on TikTok, because I created an account and now I can't even figure out how to put a video on there. So I'm like, it's a little too techy for me at this point, but I'll have to have somebody maybe 20 years old show me how to do that.
Yeah, you got to get a ginger here in there, show you how to do it.
There's a lot going on there.
Yeah, TikTok has kind of exploded when it comes to musicians and really everything that's going on in the music business, and it's really crazy because 6 months ago I would just go on there to look at recipes and dogs.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did a lot of TikTok crafting during COVID and painting ideas.
Oh, wow. Interesting. That's cool, too. So I think we're at the end of our time. Are there any parting, closing thoughts that you want your fans to know about?
Oh, well, thank you guys so much. We've had a blast playing in the Southeast and the Northeast, and can't wait to be back there. And thanks for all the love and support. It truly means the world to both of us.
Yeah, in general, just know that we are just so excited for everything that's happening, so excited to meet new people and travel across the country, and we couldn't be grateful enough for this opportunity, and we're ready to get back on the road.
Okay, well, to everybody listening out there, they're going to be traveling out west after September 2nd. Connect on their socials. Facebook and Instagram are the main ones. You can order their EP there, Soaking Wet, and great EP. I have it here, and I listen to it in my car. So thank you so much for coming on Rock at Night, and we'll be tracking you wherever you go. So just know that when you make a post on Facebook, I'll probably jump in there and make a little comment just to check in on you. So y'all have a great break at home and try to get some rest before you go out and do the West. That's some big sky country out there. So
yeah.
All right.
Thank you so much,
y'all have a great night.
You
All right,
too.
bye.
Thank you so much. Bye-bye.
You're welcome. Bye-bye.
You're listening to Rock at Night.
The introductory song, Get On Down, is from blues artist Billy Bass Alford. Look for his music at ReverbNation.com.